conversation, so if people could just say your name, so we know who you are. Jacob?
Mackenzie.
John.
Lily. Silvana.
Debbie.
Trish.
Kristen.
Debbie. Suzanne.
Howard. Bob. Nathan.
Alessandra.
Willow.
Nikki.
Howard.
Tammy.
Okay, great. Well, this young lady does a lot of value-added products, and I actually have a question for you. In my lifetime, I've made a living as a leather worker and an artist blacksmith, and always had 2 or 3 jobs to support making my living that way. So it costs money to do what you do. You deserve to be paid for it. How do you deal with what you have to charge of people who can't afford to take part in what you do?
Yeah, that's the question of the century maybe. That's the hardest part I come across, especially because my specialty crops and my value-added products are with medicinal herbs and can be, used for healthcare. So it's a big conundrum for me every day to make sure that they're accessible to the people who need them, but at the same time paying myself. And I'm going to be quite honest, I haven't been very good at that. So a little history, my dad started our farm as a vegetable farm back in the early 80s and was one of the pioneers of making vegetable farming profitable. Well, I came in with my herbal background and decided I wanted to grow medicinal herbs. And yes, there is definitely a growing interest and a growing need for it, but it's still a very young industry. And it's a little bit challenging because, with a lot of small farms that do more vegetables, everybody eats vegetables, but not everybody knows what to do with herbs, especially ones that are used for healthcare. So there are, larger businesses that make products, other herbalists that are making products, and, larger businesses that can buy my herbs, but my competition is foreign growers. It's mostly stuff that's being grown out of the United States for a fraction of the cost of what it costs to grow here. And so I'm competing with $10 a pound for something that cost me $40 just to produce. So it's been a really big challenge. And so with that, I have tried doing the bulk wholesale of the specialty crops. Not super successfully. I'm actually backing off of that. I'm not going to be wholesaling dried herbs anymore. So just an overview, we grow about 50 different medicinal herbs. We sell them both fresh wholesale by the pound as well as dried by the pound at a little drying facility. But it's just not making enough money doing it, and so I have the whole value added. So what we do is we actually go from seed to product. I plant the seeds, grow the crop, harvest the various crops, and then change them into multiple things. So whether I'm drying them and blending them into teas, or then sometimes they're dried and infused into oil, sometimes they're tinctured first, sometimes they go straight into a vinegar when they're fresh. So I have a lot of different products, but we try to do it all from what we grow. My kind of mission is that it is from seed to apothecary, so we grow about 90% of what goes into our products. And then I buy in the vinegar, the oil, and other things like that. The challenging part is how to make a profit on it. So I'm going to maybe skip around in my random slides here since that's our first question. So let's go to value-added products. If you want to make things, few key considerations are, is there a demand for that product? Let's say you just want to make it, well, is there a demand for it? Are people going to buy it? Can you find a niche for it if you really want to? There are definitely regulations on almost all value-added products, so if you're doing anything that's going to be ingested, you need to know what those regulations are. If you're making food products, get your recipes down, work out your kinks, but track your time. At the beginning, I wasn't really good at that, and especially when I'm taking something all the way from seed into a packaged tea, there's a lot of different steps throughout that. And finally, about 7 years in, I started detail tracking everything. I literally track how much time we're out there weeding something, how much time it's taking somebody to bring it to a dry room, how long it's taking to garble that down into tea form, blending it all the way through the process. And then in the winter, I sit down with a whole bunch of jumbled numbers and I figure out what the cost of that product actually was. And after a few years, I realized I was losing money. I wasn't actually making money. So if you want to make value-added products, that is the biggest step, is know what your actual cost is, and then you need to increase that. And so I don't know really what cost to retail price should be. I've looked at a lot of information on what they say, but you need to make it work for you. So if it means you double your price and you triple your price, you do what you have to, and you need to understand that you're worth it, and you need to be able to be paid. So it is really hard because we want to make it accessible for these products to people who need them or who want them, but you have to also remember you have to get paid. You're trying to make a living too. So, anybody else got a question while we're on this theme, or we can move to another section?
Just real quick, are you gonna continue to sell your dried herbs retail?
Yeah, so what we've decided, or what I have decided to do, because I am now a solo operation, I'm actually not hiring a crew this year. I'm backing off to kind of refigure out what I want my business to look like as we transition away from major production. I will still be drying things, but my main focus now is going to be growing a small amount for retail sales at the farmers market, Carborough and Durham, and then really producing the herbs just for our products. And then if there is a little bit of extra, we will have herbs for sale, both fresh via our newsletter, we have an order form online, and then also dried stuff, but in small quantities. So instead of selling to my old contracts, which was anywhere from 5 to 10 to 20 pounds of something a year per person, I'm going to be selling 2 and 4 ounce bags, which at a smaller amount like that, I can charge a considerable amount more and actually make a profit on it. So we'll have those available online and in the farmers market.
Was it relatively easy to figure out what the regulations were?
Hit or miss, but here is a really good resource. If you're doing any kind of food, start at the NCDA. You have kind of 2 options to go into if it's an ingestible, if you're going to do home processing kitchen versus commercial kitchen. We started out with a home processing kitchen because we were doing shelf-stable stuff that had low risk. If you're doing anything that is high risk or fermentation, refrigeration, if it has meat in it, if it's being there's actually a couple different categories there, but anything that's high risk, you have to have a commercial kitchen facility. I went the route of building one on my farm because we're going from seed to product. I had everything right there. It didn't make sense financially or considering I'm 25 minutes away from PFAS or from a processing facility. It didn't make sense for me to rent a space to go and do it. It was a costly project, but I also teach classes in it, so it is a multi-use facility as well. But know where you're going to go. So go here first. It's a little tricky to navigate this website if you've ever been on there. Honestly, every time I go on, I'm like, where am I going? But just search for starting a food business. And then there's kind of like this process that you go through, and I'll ask you different questions, and I'll funnel you to the right place. If you're interested in it, then get there first and call somebody and talk to them and just be like, this is my idea, this is what I'm wanting to do. You need to have your recipes and your idea down, like, to as many details as you can to explain that to them, because depending on what it is will also depend what category you're in and whether they even will be your regulatory action, because then there's also the health department if you're doing other kinds of food products. So there's really 3 different things: home processing, commercial kitchen, and then the health department, which is more what restaurants do. So if it's like prepared foods that are mixing ingredients that somebody's going to eat right away or eat on site, that's a whole different category.
So I got a question. How hard was it to get a commercial kitchen done in Orange County?
To build it and get it permitted,
Yes.
it was actually fairly easy. It was a lot easier than I was expecting.
That's good to hear.
I thought it was going to be extremely hard, and so I did a lot of research, and then when my inspector came in, she's like, wow, you really went overboard, didn't you? So there's really like 5 key things you have to have in a commercial kitchen, and they're fairly simple. You have to have stainless steel, countertops. Everything has to be wipeable, cleanable, sanitizable. You have to have thermometers in your refrigerator if you're refrigerating anything. You have to have a 2 or 3 basin sink. You have to have a bathroom within a certain amount of feet. You have to have a hand washing sink. That's really it. There's these few things. So if you can build a facility, we used a barn that was for some other thing. That's all you need to do, and then you can work in some little tidbits here and there.
I wanted to share what we learned about that, and if it is on your farm, it is a farm building,
Correct.
and it limits what the county can tell you. There's a different code for the electricity, for various things. Like, they cannot tell you how many outlets on a wall like they could in a residential or public building. So, if at all possible, build it on a farm.
Yeah, exactly. The farm building gives you a lot more leeway. We actually didn't even have to have a plumbing permit. We had an electrical permit, but not a plumbing permit in the farm building. So, granted, the plumbing was very expensive, but we didn't have to deal with the permitting parts of that. If you don't have a farm, a bona fide farm that you can actually build on, then you're going to be into more regulations with the planning and inspection. But you go and talk to them and ask them as many questions as you can. Have somebody lay it out for you. Talk to the people at NCDA to figure out where you fit in. They're very helpful. They are short-staffed, so just keep that in mind. But once you get connected with somebody, they can walk you through all the steps, and they want to help.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful. So as with regards to the commercial kitchen, who are the best people resources which I guess we would have, or we cannot go overboard? Is it the health inspection or?
Yeah, so same thing. NCDA, there was a woman named Rachel that I initially talked to. It's really just email somebody or call somebody, and you don't really get to talk to an inspector until you're ready. But Rachel was the main person that was answering the phone and was able to go through the process with you. I read the food code, I don't know how many times. Don't bother, because it's relevant if you don't know anything about producing food, but I had already been producing in a home processing kitchen, so I knew the basics of food safety. So if you know the basics of food safety, the food code is kind of irrelevant because it's a lot of jargon. It doesn't make any sense to me, honestly. I'm a farmer. I don't know anything about legal context. But they can walk you through the things, and then if you have questions, like say you already have a building, say this is what the building is, what do I need to do to make it into a commercial kitchen? And really it's just those 5 things. So if you can refit it into those 5 things, that's really all you need.
So you can really do the work yourself, right? You don't there's not regulation, there's not like worry of having like third party people come in.
You mean subcontractors?
Yeah, like can you do it yourself?
It depends on your situation. Because we were a farm, the farm building could be built by whoever, and it was actually built years ago by my dad and another contractor. So the building was already established. We had a professional plumber come in, but we didn't need a plumbing permit, so you probably could do your own plumbing. Electrical does have to have a permit. So you have to have a certified electrician to do it, unless you own the property in the building, and then you can do electrical on your own. But you need to talk to, the planning and inspections departments to figure out what your unique situation is and what the requirements are for that. But if you own the land, you own the building, then you have a lot more leeway because you can be your own contractor.
If you have the bona fide farm thing already in place.
Right. Yeah. I only have experience with being a bona fide farm. I don't know what it's like if you're not on one.
Or you can still need the electrical permit.
Yeah,
You just do
electrical.
the work yourself.
Yeah. I wired the office part of this building, and then we had electrician come in and do some of the bigger ones, putting in a new panel box and things like that. Yeah.
And there's other support in the community. There's a group at table 13 downstairs called We Power, which is focuses helping women produce value-added products. And they can be a good resource for where you can go and what you can add. And one of the people involved with them works at PFAS, so it's very, knows more about goddamn regulations than I'd ever want to have to know in my life. So use any of those kind of resources you can grab onto.
Yeah,
It's a
and
lot of work.
it depends on what kind of product you're making too. It may make more sense to go to an established facility and rent space there rather than, I spent 40 grand on this building to pay 10 grand to put in a bathroom. So it's not cheap. If you don't have the funds, it might make more sense to start out at a place like that where you can rent. And then if it makes sense to have it more localized, for me, I would have spent, half that money just driving back and forth to Hillsborough 5 times a week, which I don't have the time for that being a farmer. Howard?
Question, around the inspection of the kitchen, do you get regular inspection, and does this fall under the inspections of the health department, or is this separate?
Yeah, so back to the 3 different categories,
Yes.
there's home processing and commercial kitchen are gonna be in CDA. The health department is if you have a certain category of food, like if you're doing, let's say I wanted to prepare salads and serve them,
Yeah.
that's the health department.
Oh, okay.
So think more like what restaurants provide.
Yeah.
But if you're making a packaged product, it stays in that package and goes home with somebody,
Yes.
that's gonna be in CDA more. And yeah, the inspection was fairly easy. Once you have all your ducks in a row, you're ready to get inspected, you get assigned an inspector, you get a date, they come out, they check a few things off, and they say you're good to go. I already have been producing for 10 years in a home processing kitchen, so for me it may have been a little bit easier because they already knew I knew what I was doing. And in that 10 years of home processing kitchen, I never was re-inspected. They never contacted me again. I have heard some people with commercial kitchen, they'll come once a year. That's what they kind of say, but they're also short-staffed, so there's no guarantee when they're coming back or if they come back. I've also heard other people there come back in 6 years.
I have heard from inspectors, like off the record, that the only way you would really get re-inspected is if someone gets sick and points at your product, or if there's a area-wide well contamination thing, that they did so understaffed that just do what's right and probably never get re-inspected.
What did the home kitchen inspections look like? Like, was it as intense as like having a commercial kitchen? What?
No, and honestly, I wouldn't say either one felt very intense. I think I made it more intense than it actually was. I mean, I was like super nervous. I had all these things done, and then she really looked at it when she came in. No, the home processing one is fairly easy. It's your own kitchen. Main things there is you cannot have pets in the home at all, anywhere. It doesn't matter if there are separated rooms. You cannot have pets in your home. You have to have, the equipment, the supplies, things like that you're going to be using to make your product have to have their own area. So you can't use your blender for your morning smoothie and then use your blender for your product. The idea is that it is a separate units of stuff and that you keep them clean. They're going to look and make sure you don't have any bugs in your light. You're going to make sure you don't have cobwebs in your corners. It needs to be a clean facility. There needs to be a bathroom. You have to have if you're on a well, you have to have a well water inspection for both. And that's a yearly thing. So that's the only thing I really have to keep up on is with my well is testing the water yearly and make sure it's safe. Yeah.
And you self-test stuff, or is it
No, you have to go through Orange County. Yeah. Yeah, and it has to be somebody who is registered to do that. My brother or my cousin-in-law is a UNC professor and has a lab and tests water. He does water quality, but he is not he's not a facility that is permitted to do that. But it's like $60 for they're testing for E. coli and positive coliforms basically. But it's just Orange County. It's the Orange County Health Department. Yeah, it's a well water inspection test. Any other other questions while we're on value added or commercial kitchen? Alright, who wants to talk specialty crops? Okay, or go backwards here. So specialty crops, my specialty crops was medicinal herbs. I have a background in herbalism and I was growing a little bit of herbs out in California before I moved to North Carolina, and my focus on the farm wanted to be growing these medicinal herbs. So it's kind of the same ideas. If you want to grow something that's not like your standard beets, radish, carrots, tobacco, wheat, like any of the main crops around, there's lots of different vegetables, herbs, things that you can grow. But remember, again, you want to make sure there's a need for that crop. You make sure there is an actual, the supply and demand, right? So you want to supply it, that's great, but there has to be a demand if you want to make money on it. Or if you really want to do it, because that's the kind of person I am, I'm going to find a niche for it. So you can also find a niche, and that might be, if you're an educator, you want to educate people about it, you could grow that niche as well. Get experience with the crop before you really try it. It's just like with anything, if it's new, you want to get some experience before you go and, like another farmer I know, go and plant an acre of chamomile because they want to grow chamomile. Okay, well, has anybody tried to pick chamomile on a large scale? Okay, an acre I could not imagine. I grow like maybe 200-300 foot beds of it, and that's still a lot. It takes like 8 to 12 hours a week to pick it. So get some experience, research other people that might be growing it, see if you can go and visit and see how it's being grown, ask what their pros and cons of the crop is, things that they had to navigate through trying to figure that out, and then also how are you going to get to market, where is it going to go to market. Trial the crop first, make sure it will grow in your environment, make sure you understand what the diseases, pests might be, because if you've never grown it before and it's not grown a lot around here, it may not grow very well. You might have issues. We started growing a lot of more kind of subtropical plants because there are a lot of herbs that are tropical plants like hibiscus. When we drink hibiscus tea, there's a calyx that comes off of one hibiscus species. Well, we started growing it and it was like, oh, this is great, it grows wonderful. But we've started to have disease issues with it after several years. When it first got introduced, it's like none of the bugs or diseases around here knew what it was. They just left it alone, and then all of a sudden, and granted I haven't had it tested, it looks like we have our blight from tomatoes that is decimating our hibiscus now. So things can come up. Trial it first. Make sure you can actually grow it. Make sure you know how to harvest it. Make sure you know how to process it if you're going to process it and get it out somewhere. And you gotta be innovative, with hibiscus. Is anybody grown hibiscus here? Alright, so y'all are kind of familiar. So you can go to one of the tiendas and buy hibiscus for about $10 a pound. It cost me $100 a pound to process it into a dry form. So we have gone through lots of different ways of trying to harvest it and process it, but you're out there picking one at a time, de-seeding it one at a time. It dries down 10 to 1 once you take that seed out. And well, if you have crew doing it, they may not be as fast as you are, so then your cost goes up and down depending on who's taking that seed out and sitting around chit-chatting for like 4 to 6 hours at a time doing it. So trial these things and make sure you know how much it's going to cost and how much it's going to do. We only grow hibiscus for our own products now. I no longer wholesale it. Nobody's going to pay $150 and $200 a pound for it because that's what I need. And again, track your time and figure it out. I'm going to turn it over to Kathleen now to talk about other specialty crops. I grow mostly herbs, but I think we want to focus on some vegetables. So if anybody's interested in vegetables, there's lots of those too.
Could you help me with the website?
Yes.
I don't have slides, but I can show everybody the
I
website.
can
While
try.
we're doing this, I would recommend that people think about how does this fit into your lifestyle. My wife does value-added ginger products, so we grow ginger. She's at a point she could expand. Well, she's a really smart person. She's an epidemiologist. She's got her hands in the epidemiology world and her hands in 20,000 other community events and organizations. Does she want to give that up to put the time and energy you really need into the growing? So it's a tough one because you can get consumed, and why get consumed and end up not liking what you're doing when you used to really love it. So I think that's a life struggle.
All right, we can't get the website to show. Somehow they got this screen fixed over here.
I'll see if
But
I can find someone who knows that subject.
That's
I'm
fine.
stupid
That's
at
all
it.
right, yeah. How much time do I have? What time is it?
Yeah, don't look at the clock out here.
That's
12.
Huh?
It's
11:55 and it goes to
12:20.
12,
20.
20?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we got a little bit of time, so if you can help me to find
I'll
out.
try to find someone.
Thank you. I am Dr. Kathleen Liang from North Carolina, A&T State University. It's been a long day. But my real position is actually the director for Center for Environmental Farming Systems. Anybody heard about SAFs? 1, 2, yeah. I'm one of the 2 directors from North Carolina A&T, and the Center for Environmental Farming Systems. Once they can fix the website stuff, you will see it. It's a 3-way partnership with over about 35 years of the history to work with the folks across North Carolina or at a national, international level to help people to reach prosperity and the community health with environmental farming practices. Now, I'm going to show you one element that we do really, really well. By training, I'm an agriculture economist. I heard the question, people talking about high cost, not being able to make money. I joined A&T in 2016, and there is an outstanding farmer sitting right there. I joined A&T in 2016, and I can tell you, we have helped a lot of small farmers in rural area turn $1 million, 1 acre at a time. Alright. So I'm going to show you one of the secret ingredients I help farmers to do that. I did a grocery shopping yesterday, and I thought, well, what a wonderful opportunity to show you what I eat and what I grow. Now, I'm going to, I borrowed somebody's sheet here. So if you're interested in some of the program, oh, there you are. Oh, thank you so much, I appreciate it. So Center for Environmental Farming Systems. So thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, all right, great. So if you want to leave your name, your email, phone number on this piece of paper, I will add you to our training website information because I just finished the grant writing training. I have the 3rd series coming up. But I also have the specialty crop training on the website. What is it?
Radish.
Daikon radish? Yeah, daikon radish. They fixed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fixed it.
Oh, they got it?
Yeah, they got it. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, that's our website.
You're
Thank
excited?
you so much, Sunshine. I appreciate it.
That's all it goes.
It's just thank you. Yeah. So daikon radish is my staple vegetable. And what is this? Bitter melon. Okay, bitter melon, daikon radish, all certified organic production. And then what is this? Long bean. Okay, certified organic. Now I got these from the Asian market, by the way. We have a wonderful a couple of large Asian markets in this area. H-Mart in Cary. Anybody went to H-Mart?
Oh,
Okay. Grand Asia Market off Buck Jones Road. That's where I went for shopping because that's more Taiwanese style. I was born and raised in Taiwan. Alright. 2 different kind of a bitter melon. You want to guess which one is more bitter than the other?
Strawberry one?
The porcupine one is the most bitter style. Then this one, and then there's a white jade. You've seen the white color in this shape kind of thing? That's the really mild kind of thing. Alright. And then, have you seen these?
Cell juice.
Caixin is a lettuce stem. It's a lettuce in the ground. But normally you just harvest the leaf to eat it. But the whole stem is better than the leaves. This is called a shanyao, the medicine of the mountain. And there's a really interesting name about it, the Chinese yam. This has nothing to do with a yam. It doesn't look like a yam. But if you go to the grocery store, they call it a Chinese yam.
It looks like an Africanized yam though.
Huh?
So it does have the features of an Africanized yam.
Yeah, like an African, yeah, they call it Chinese yam. I don't know.
Maybe look.
But anyway, I grow all of these things in North Carolina, and now this is really popular. You all know about this, the eggplant, right? Okay. If I tell you, now I'm gonna show you where you can find all the information. You come to the center's website. Okay, and then go down. I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
It won't listen to my finger.
I know, yeah, you can think up here.
Okay, down. Go down. And right here. Please click on small farm unit. Okay. The small farm unit, just stay right here. It's one of the 6 units we operate in Goldsboro, North Carolina. The Cherry Research Farm. Cherry Research Farm has 2,200 acres. It's one of the largest research stations in the country. It has 6 units, and we, the specialty crop group, operates on a 30 acre. 15 acres are certified organic. Since the day of the certificate showed up in this country, we have the oldest certified organic land in North Carolina in this country. The other 15 acres is not certified organic, but we practice 100% organic. If I tell you how I grow, you will be amazed. As an agriculture economist, I'm the only person in the country dealing from the production, marketing, finance, risk assessment to regenerative agriculture. That's my whole career path. I've been doing it for eons. I know you're recording this. USDA just paid attention to the regenerative agriculture. Did you hear Casey talking about it? NRCS had this rolling out a new program. Well, that was my career path already for 40-some years. Okay. Now we grow these things. 3 principles: simple, easy, cheap. To achieve the profit level for all the producers can achieve. A formula for you to remember. Okay, write down this formula. No matter what you're gonna grow, what you're gonna do, whether it's value added or just raw material, your cost, including hired labor, including everything, has to be 70% of your price. So what does the rest of the 30% cover? Your cost can only be 70% of the price for you, whatever you're gonna charge. So if you can charge $1 a pound, right? Your total cost, you should be able to pay with that 70% of your income. What does the 30% go? Where does that go?
Into your pocket.
Pay yourself. Come back to you, whether you take it as income or reinvest it back to the business. This is an economic formula, folks. It's not a secret, okay? We study economics, we know that. The profit margin for net income has to be 30% into your pocket, okay? She's absolutely right. The time worth the money. Most of the farmers I work with don't count time. Don't count time. Okay. And most of the farmers I work with also are very shy and very humble not to charge enough. And I'm like, huh? You don't count your time and you don't charge enough. How are you gonna make it? Right? So I've helped really small scale farmers, starting with a half an acre. This is a plot, a standard plot on our research forum. And by the way, write down this website address. Okay, I'm gonna gonna read out loud for you. It's a CEFS, Center for Environmental Farming System, CEFS, .ncsu.edu. Yes, I am an A&T employee, but the website is under management of NC State. Share the partnership, okay, we share the work. So once you get onto the website, click on the small farm unit. And the Sunshine, if I bother you, go down a little bit, okay? You see the small farm unit keep going down to the very bottom of the website. Okay, stop right here, thank you so much. You will see all of my training programs down here, translated into 2 languages. I already have them translated into Spanish. I'm in the process translating into Mandarin. Thanks to Google Translator. And all this built-in translation stuff, I upload a file, it translates automatically. Okay? So all of my training right here, growing specialty crops for entering the market. I'm not going to show you the slides today, but I just want to let you know how we did it. Simple, easy, cheap. We use a minimum tillage, 100% cover crop operation, 100% for certified organic operation. Yes, you can buy certified organic fertilizer, other chemical stuff. I don't have the budget. Okay, the school said now you do whatever you need to do, okay? You make it up. And I can't sell our produce because it's a government funding supported on NCDA property. This is NCDA property, okay? So can't sell a thing, can't earn much stuff. I certainly don't have enough money out of my pocket to run it. Okay? So this cover crops are the easiest way. And NRCS program has a cover crop cost share. Didn't she just say that this morning? Okay? Contact Casey or your county NRCS office for cover crop cost share opportunities. So we rely on 100% cover crop. I do not use any fertilizer, pesticide, herbicide stuff. Nothing. For 10 years, since 2016 when I joined A&T. How much can I harvest each half acre of the plot? It all depends on what I grow. I can grow melons and pumpkins and all those kind of things. But annually, before COVID, when we were running one-person show, just me, okay, and the farm manager, not even a technician, I can harvest 60,000 pounds. Fruit, vegetable, leafy greens, the root vegetable. I grow bitter melon like a weeds. So just really, they multiply really, really fast. Coming back to what Sunshine said earlier as well, is you need to know who will eat this stuff. Who will pay for the money and where you're gonna sell. I've been helping farmers to sell to specialty grocery stores, restaurants, direct contract. And I also help people to work together to have some food hub, co-op kind of stuff, just to get to the amount. Because if you're too small, the restaurant won't talk with you, no matter how good it is. If you can't give them enough supply amount for the restaurant. I also help them to do the value-added bitter melon tea, bitter melon chips, bitter melon just about anything, it will work. Eggplant, the same thing, alright? So all these fruit, vegetables we grow in Goldsboro and a small farm unit. They're not miracle, they're hard work. You're gonna ask me what kind of a damage I got? Deer. My biggest damage was the wildlife out there. These crops don't attract much insects. I don't have much nematodes problems. My colleagues, you heard her saying tomato stuff, okay? Tomato got blights and nematodes, all kind of stuff. Really cumbersome, so my vegetables are fine. So what I did is, the research was, I rotate them. I never grow the same crop on the same spot. And I rotate cover crops to purposely disturb that natural habitat before the insects and the nematodes or whatever these things are figured out, I change. So I hit the environment with the shock. Now I didn't create this. There's research about that. Okay, there's a certain way of rotating your cropping pattern, rotating the way you grow, will actually help the ecosystem to rebalance a little bit. I also use a flamer. You know anybody knows what a flamer is? You can push it or you can carry it on the backpack kind of style, just burn it. I do that as well with my certified organic plot. So again, my plot is a half acre per unit. I do about 3 acres a year, 60,000 pounds of the harvest. Each pound, on average, certified organic vegetable about $3-4. That's $200,000 a year of the income. Take 70% out of it. How much could I earn if I sell it? Think about it. At least 60,000. That's a nice, healthy living standard. You don't eat that. You don't eat that much. You eat your own vegetables, right? So here, lesson learned is really simple. Combine both of our experiences. We do it in a dedicated manner, right? Keep track of all the record. Make sure you have a solid record, understanding what's in, what's out. Find the buyers. Growers always ask me, well, what should I do to talk to the buyers? I said the restaurants buy them. So take your wife or your husband out for a date night. Go to the Mexican restaurant, go to the Chinese restaurant. You all do Chinese takeout. You all do Chinese takeout, don't you? Yeah, go to have a date night. Chinese, Viennese, Japanese, all kinds of African, Jamaican restaurants in the whole area. The market is there, and people will buy. Because the restaurant people learned a lesson from COVID, am I right? Once we rely on the long supply chain, something stopped. Farmers can't sell the thing, grocery store empty shelf.
Please, can you tell us a little bit more about how you go about with restaurants and these direct contracts with them? Any pros or cons or
Sure.
to that?
The pro is a direct sale. Again, they pay you the contract price directly. It's money in your pocket, by the way. North Carolina ACDA, the website she showed you, has a good regulation kind of thing. And if you're selling small amount or something, there's a waiver or something like that you can apply for. So NCDA has a marketing division. They work with you if you want to do direct sale with the restaurant or deli, little shop, mom and pop, that kind of thing. So the bad thing is money is in your pocket. You don't have to go through the intermediary, the transportation, you gotta pay the bus driver, you gotta pay the gasoline, all this stuff, right? But the downside is the volume and the quality. You have to make sure you can deliver. They need 100 pounds a week for a decent restaurant. Can you deliver that much, first of all? Secondly, can you guarantee every single daikon radish grow up like that? Same size. Okay? That's the hardest part, to work with the restaurant people. But there's a new trend, okay? There are restaurants in North Carolina and across the country. They take whatever farmer can sell to promote local food movement. It's under USDA Agriculture Marketing Service Promotion Program, procurement program, encouraging the state government to help local farmers to direct sale to school, to hospital, to restaurants, to senior care. You go onto our website, we have all those programs listed on the website. How to do about, and we have staff members who can help you to sort out some of these things.
Do you have to be GAP certified to sell to the government? To the schools?
Government, yes. But yeah, for school, yes. Now, some of the restaurants, you don't need that, but some. So I don't have the comprehensive list for that. My say to farmers want to be, how many of you are farmers, real farmers? Farmers, how many of you, I don't know your hand. 10 years, at least 10 years farming. Okay, 20 years. I'll say you guys 30 years. See, okay, we got some
That's big
really,
Adam's doing that.
thank you so much. How many of you are here want to be commercial farming beyond your garden? Okay, we've got quite a few here, okay? So, different scenarios here. For people who want to get into the commercial account, start small. Let's see if you can handle a neighborhood CSA. You know, the community supported agriculture? That's probably the best way to start, okay? And then for those of you who are already in commercial operation, talk to the restaurant people. A lot of times restaurants don't even know there's a farmer in their neighborhood, right? You go to a restaurant and you ask them, well, I grow these things. Really? Where are you located? Down the street, right here. So the connection, you just have to be in that place just to start a dialogue.
So let me say something about GAP and organic, because I'm organic certified and I am GAP certified, and I raise organic tobacco and I raise organic wheat and I have raised organic soybeans and all. And since we're under contract with tobacco companies, we have to be GAP certified. It's changed a lot in 20 years. It's a lot easier to do it now than it was 20 years ago. And all, and we have found that when organic inspectors come or GAP inspections come, now they tell us, look, we're here to help y'all. We're not here to teach y'all. We're not here to hurt y'all. At the very beginning, they were nitpicking us on everything. But it is still pretty tough. I'll be 72 my birthday. So my GAP book is about that thick.
Does GAP mean organic or is it just?
The tobacco companies require us to be GAP certified, which is good agricultural practices. So we can't sell tobacco under contract with them unless we do our GAP certification. And Arch Advisors, Sue does ours. And the man that owns Arch Advisors, his name is Tracy Ford. And we've had some good conversations. We've had some bad conversations, but about who came and done our inspection. At the very beginning, a lot of those GAP inspectors was what the majority of us farmers would consider activists. They thought that we were there to do everything wrong and to hurt the people that were working for us. Because we use H-2A workers that come straight from Mexico, and a lot of mine's been coming back for 20 years. And we, like I said, I farm. We got a chicken operation, 65,000 chickens at the house. We grow about 80 acres of tobacco, all of it's not organic. I got 150 acres of organic wheat planted, and I don't know about soybeans, but we might do soybeans. I mean, that's a hit and miss, depends on the weather. But don't be scared if you want to get GAP certified or organic certified. I mean, because it's a lot easier now. And the majority of the organic inspectors now are, well, I got a consultant that helps do my stuff. Her name is Mary Wilkes. If they see a Mary Wilkes book laying on the table when they walk into the house, boom, 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 they're in and out. Because they know that everything's in place. Now, she's not cheap. It's about $1,000 a year for her to do that stuff for mine. But
Isn't there another organization for different kind of
oh,
certification?
it's all kind of
Certified naturally grown.
Yeah. It's all kind of stuff out there.
You got to how homogenized yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go a little
There
deeper.
are different levels, but there's a checklist available on USDA website. If you really want to see what they check.
That's right.
And then you can just talk to your cooperative extension folks, you talk to NCDA folks, they will walk you through those things and then come to visit, like the NRCS people. They come to visit and they will check for you, okay, this is what need to do, this is what need to do, this one. And then you do it, and then come back to check again. Our research farm, we are certified organic, which means all the inputs have to be certified organic and using non-treated woods. But everybody will say, "Liang, that's really pain in the butt to do it." No, because we go through that process every year. All I need to do is to save my seed bags. Whatever I buy, I save the receipt. I take a picture of the package. Sometimes I just save the package, just for an example. So when they come, they look at all these things. All right, certified, and they say, "Hey, Liang, is that something new?" I say, "Yeah, that's something new." So they will ask questions, but they just have to get the document ready. That for organic, it's really simple as well. And the cost is all different. For us, we pay about $1,200 because we are a home research farm. They're all different parts of stuff. For some reason, A&T has been paying it for eons. I gotta check that out. But because I pay for A&T State land too, they're a research farm. But anyway, so cost is different based on your size, the varieties of the things you do. Like his poultry farm, for example, if one day he woke up, he said, "I'm gonna put some vegetable or fruit trees in over here." Well, then they come to take a look, say, "Okay, where you have all these things, check. It's really a straightforward process now, and then more people are doing it, so it's very reasonable.
So land that I own or rent, we have about 350 acres of certified organic land. And all, and we rotate and do stuff, but then the gap expenses are about close to $1,000 too. Then the auditor is about $750. So it's expensive to do all of this stuff. But organic's gonna soon be a thing of the past now because everything's gonna be regenerative. That's the new thing and all.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether y'all know it or not, but we do have one farm in Orange County that just got certified at the highest level as a regenerative farm.
What farm is that?
That's Union Grove. Yeah.
And it really depends on where your markets are. Our farm was certified for 20 years, and then when we stopped selling wholesale, there really wasn't a need for it anymore. We can tell our direct consumers, our direct customers, that we have practiced organically for 40 years, but we don't have to go through the processes anymore because our customers know that and they don't need it. They don't need us to have the label, the big O word on it. So it really depends on what your specific situation is, whether it makes sense to go.
Yeah, no, we've already made that decision. Just the gap certification to be able to schools and that kind of.
And there's a lot of trainings for GAP too that happen through,
Extension?
various of these organizations, extension, they'll trainings, you can get a taste of what it's like. I think we're about at lunchtime.
What about at
Any more
lunchtime?
questions?
Any questions? Any comments?
Did you have a question?
No, she asked me the time.
Oh.
Did you all
Is there anything
put
else?
your name and the email for me? I'll go back and send you the information. Now, one